Trump drops the hammer on Big Pharma, massive tariffs incoming. We've got all this and more on today's episode of Week in Review by Gateway Pundit. What's going on? My name is Mike Mendoza. I'm filling in for Elijah Schaefer today. You just can't keep this guy pinned down in one place for too long. He's always doing something. He's always meeting with people in foreign countries, not Qatar, by the way, but he's always meeting people up. He's always doing speeches. Right now, he's in New York, actually. So if you're in New York, if you're in the tri-state area, go catch him. He has more information on his Twitter. You can follow him there at Elijah Schaefer. So go check him out. If you're in the area, go check out the speech. Should be good. So, but also, I'm filling in. So you got me again today. Filling in with me is Michael Hennessy of A One Snowflake News. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, happy to be here, man. Glad we get another chance to do this. A little bit excited. I do think he's getting money from Qatar, but if you're denying it, I'll stick with what you're saying.
Yeah, well, he thinks that Elijah's getting money from Qatar. Does that explain the massive stacks of money here? I don't know. Maybe he just had to make a withdrawal. Maybe his debit card wasn't working. I don't know. We'll never know. But what we do know is that the tariffs are coming, and they're coming hard. No pun intended. I'm not trying to imply anything there, but Trump drops the hammer on Big Pharma, massive tariffs incoming. We have a video that I can pull up for you in just a second, but Trump is really going hard on these tariffs. He's not letting up, and he's even kind of been rubbing it in with these foreign countries, saying that everyone's trying to kiss his ASS. I don't know if I should say the word here on Gateway Pundit because this is a serious news organization, but he's been saying that people have been trying to kiss up to him. People have been trying to bend the knee to him. Some countries, the European Union specifically, which is just a conglomerate of other countries, is maybe not being so friendly with it. They're trying to impose their own tariffs on steel and everything. That's some news that came out recently this morning. But let me just bring up this video, and then let's see what President Trump himself had to say. Watch.
The drug companies listen to him, but we're going to do something that we have to do. We're going to tariff our pharmaceuticals, and once we do that, they're going to come rushing back into our country because we're the big market. The advantage we have over everybody is that we're the big market. So we're going to be announcing very shortly a major tariff on pharmaceuticals, and when they hear that, they will leave China, they will leave other places because they have to sell. Most of their product is sold here. And they're going to be opening up their plants all over the place in our country. We're going to be announcing that. So that's breaking news. Ladies and gentlemen, we have breaking news.
So, people always say, this is what I voted for. This is actually what I voted for. I actually didn't vote, unfortunately, for just other reasons I'm not going to get into right now. I actually have never voted in the presidential election. I know people are going to tear me up in the comments about that. That's fine. I kind of feel like it's all just like a dog and pony show. I feel like it's not real. That's fine. I still do like Trump, though. But what I will say about this is that it's good to see that Trump is actually forcing the issue with different countries. I didn't vote for him pulling the chair out for Netanyahu. I didn't vote for him going to war with Iran. But I did vote for the Trump in 2016 that we had, where he was, really putting it all out there. And he was like making sure that people were trying to come to America and make a deal. That's his big thing. That was what he's been known for decades now, for making the deal. He wrote a book called The Art of the Deal. He obviously had the show called The Apprentice. So, that's actually like, this is more of the Trump that we want to see. And he's right too. When we start holding out on other countries, or we start to impose tariffs on other countries, it starts to kind of change the balance, I guess you could say, with how things are run. Because right now we're beholden to a lot of other countries for certain goods. I think that China actually manufactures a lot of the fentanyl, and that's kind of been not so much a conspiracy, but just a controversy that's been bubbling up. But Mike, I don't know what you think about this, but is this what you want to see as an American citizen, as a voter for Trump? As someone who has been supporting Trump for a long time now, this is kind of what we've been looking for more, as someone who is actually taking initiative and trying to bring the world to bargain with America, not the other way around. Would you say that this is what you voted for?
Yeah, I would say this is definitely what I voted for. Me personally, I voted for Trump 100%. I'm a J6er, so the chance to actually get a vote for my freedom and a vote to get the country in the right direction is definitely something I went for. Now, there has been other policies that I'm trying to wait to see how it all turns out. But, as far as the tariffs go, China has been taking way too much advantage of us. And not only the fentanyl manufacturing, as Mike mentioned, I think there's also things in Wuhan that we should be checking into as well. But just the fact of how all our companies are going overseas, and this is a great way to get people back and no longer take advantage of the United States. So definitely something I voted for.
Also, if you're in the manufacturing industry, if you're into fabrication or anything like that, I mean, this is a big chance for you to step up. Because I mean, right now, I mean, sometimes I hate buying stuff from Amazon because every single time it's from some unintelligible Chinese factory name, and you just don't know where it's coming from. But now, I mean, if you have the resources to be able to manufacture things, I think you should jump on it. And I think that's not a controversial statement because, I mean, obviously, I don't think that America should be the capital or the hub of making these little trinkets that are being sold on Temu or Alibaba. But I mean, they make a ton of money doing that. So, why not capitalize on this instance to, try and make money here? I think it's a good, and, it may open up more jobs for manufacturing in the U.S. So I think it's good all around. But let's see what happens because there has been rumors about Trump dialing it back, putting a pause on it. He said that it wasn't true, but let's figure out what happens. I would like to hear more from people who are more tuned into the economy and manufacturing in the comments. Obviously, like I said before, I'm not the biggest expert on tariffs, to be quite honest with you. I'm just but a humble producer, but a humble graphic designer. But I would like to hear from other people and see what they think on it. So anyway. Next story. What's the deal with Justice Amy Coney Barrett siding with libs? Watch Gateway pundit reporter Cara Castronuova ask Karoline Leavitt about Barrett at today's briefing. One thing with Cara or not with Cara Castronuova, but with Amy Coney Barrett is we did a lot of work to get her confirmed, to get her onto the Supreme Court. But she's a Catholic, so by all measures, she should be a lot more conservative. But it seems like she always does side with the liberals on certain things. Not sure why it is. If you look into her family, and she kind of just holds more liberal beliefs. She's not as right wing as I think a lot of people wanted her to be. But let's see how this exchange with Cara Castronuova, who by the way is a great reporter. Let's see how this exchange with her and Karoline Leavitt went down. Watch.
So President Trump has designated Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization and deported its members while also moving to restrict Venezuela's oil exports. Is the administration preparing additional military or economic actions against Venezuela and the Maduro regime? And my second question is about Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Is the administration have a comment on her decision to go with the liberals and go actually with the Tren de Araguas? This is the same justice that actually sided against January 6th hostages last year. So is the administration have a comment? Are they disappointed in Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett?
To your first question, I don't have any actions to read out in terms of Venezuela. The president has imposed secondary tariffs on the Maduro regime and on Venezuela in the form of oil, which is obviously going to have a crippling effect on the Maduro regime, and that's the intended effect of this administration. As for the justice you mentioned, as for the Supreme Court, we've made our feelings very clear. We believe this was a massive victory. Certainly, we wish this was a 9-0 decision because we firmly believe that the president was well within his constitutional authority, and the Supreme Court made that very clear last night, and they put Judge Boasberg in his place. We called on the Supreme Court to rein in these judges who are acting as judicial activists, not real arbiters of the truth and the law, and that's exactly what we saw the Supreme Court do yesterday.
All right. Yeah, so that's the issue with the Supreme Court, at least in my opinion, is that it feels like they're trying to input their social agenda more so than they are just trying to operate based off the rule of law. I mean, once it comes to operating based off the rule of law, I mean, it should be objective. It shouldn't be based on, subjective emotions or feelings about how things should be going. And actually, if I go into the article a little bit here, kind of explains the exchange between Karoline Leavitt and Cara Castronuova a little bit better. It says that Barrett sided with loony lib justices and Tren de Aragua gangs last week after throwing J6 political hostages, one that we have in the studio with us right now, under the bus last year in another example of her despicable interpretation of the law, where she again sided with vindictive libs. This reporter asked Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt the administration's comment on Barrett's decision at today's press briefing at the White House. So take off screen real quick. So yeah, again, I feel like these people should just be, and also even to once they're trying to operate based off the rule of law, they find ways to interpret it in a favorable, if you've ever worked with lawyers before, lawyers can be your best friends. They can be your worst enemy too if you're on the other side of a lawyer, but they can always find ways to manipulate and to bend things in the way that they want it, or like the outcome that they're looking for. So just an observation, but as Caroline Leavitt said, we wish that it would be a 9-0 decision, but in our current political climate, it's just never going to be that way, unfortunately. So it is what it is. But hopefully one day Trump will, hopefully the next predecessor to Trump will be even more, maybe extreme is the wrong word, but be even more conservative and even more right wings. And thing with these Supreme Court appointments too is why we made such a big deal about Kavanaugh and ACB is because they're lifetime appointments. So until they die, they're going to be there. And they're going to be making these decisions. So, I think Kavanaugh's been a little bit better, but yeah, Amy Coney Barrett, I want to say that she's been a disappointment, but let's just say we just need to nudge her in the right direction. Maybe we can get better results from her in the future. But I don't know. Again, would love to hear from you guys in the comments. I'm not the arbiter of truth here, but I like to hear everyone's perspective. But one thing I do want to mention is that recently someone who's been on the side of President Trump, especially with the judicial battles over the Stop the Steal and the 2016 or the 2020 election, I should say, has been Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell is actually not a personal friend of mine. He's a personal friend of my family's actually. So I love Mike Lindell. He's a true patriot in the truest form, and I'm not even just saying that. Like Mike Lindell is a true patriot, and I think that's kind of it's not even to be argued at this point. He's really proven his bona fides to this point. So I think he's great. But one thing about Mike Lindell and MyPillow is that they have got attacked from every side over the years. They've got orders canceled, they've got warehouses shut down or whatever, and still he continues to truck on. And him and his employees want to thank you for your continued support of MyPillow, because obviously they support us, they support some of the other shows that we work on, and obviously they're just for America once it comes down to it. But they have a big allotment of their bed sheets that were earmarked for the box stores for the spring. And, they did again. The box stores didn't come through. Just like how I was saying before, the box stores canceled them for whatever reason, for political reasons, which, once you work in commerce, you shouldn't have to worry about politics. It shouldn't even be a conversation. It shouldn't even be an issue. It's just, if you have a good product, you should be able to sell it. America's a capitalist country. That's how everything should operate. But, now MyPillow is going to pass the savings on to you. So now there is no middleman. Now there is no woke Bed Bath & Beyond or like other company that might sell MyPillow, but because there's no middleman, now they can pass these savings on to you. So there's wholesale prices right now at MyPillow.com on their famous Giza Dreams and Percale bed sheets. The Giza Dream Queen size, I think, which is normally $139.98, has a wholesale price of $69.99 now, which is crazy. I mean, I have a few beds in my house. We have the a guest room, and then we have the master bedroom and everything. And I mean, buying comforters, buying sheets can be really expensive. And then if you get like a really good bed that's even worth worth anything, then I mean that will run you $1,000 too. So it's like it's good to get a little bit of savings on your bed sheets, but then you're not sacrificing quality, which is a good thing. Also, king size $79.99. The Percale queen size normally runs $89.98, but for you, it's just $29.98. So I mean, this is an awesome deal. But you have to go to mypillow.com and use promo code Elijah. Or if you want to do it over the phone, some people like to do it that way, you can call 800-210-8491. Again, that's 800-210-8491. And there are free shipping options available. So I mean, honestly, you're not going to get a better deal than this. I mean, like even going to Target, I don't think even Target or Walmart has anything near these types of deals. And you're supporting someone who loves America, who aligns with our values. But this allotment won't last long. And when it's gone, it's gone. So just remember, go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Elijah, and then or call 800-210-8491, and then just tell them that Elijah sent you, and then you can get those deals there. So anyway, on to the next story. The fearless DHS Secretary Kristi Noem delivered a sassy one-liner to criminal illegal aliens as she dodges his flailing attacks. I will bring up this video for you real quick. Let's check it out.
Do you have family? Sir, do you have family? Escobar? Do you have family?
Let's go.
We'll go. You're going to go. You're going to go home. And you're going to get prosecuted.
Do you
have family?
Oh,
sir, do you have family? Escobar?
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm still not the best with dealing with this video stuff and having to deal with the production or whatever. But this is Mike, this is something that Tom Homan has been saying for a long time, is you're gonna go back, which They were talking for a while about mass deportations. And, I don't know what your opinion is on this, Mike, but obviously we haven't seen mass deportations yet. I mean, we have seen targeted raids, which is good because, I think one of the most important things is taking out these people who are committing crimes in the country. So, I mean, broadly, I do agree with the idea of getting the violent migrants out first. It makes a lot of sense to me. But, I think ultimately, if we don't want the identity of the country to change, if we don't want our major cities to turn into third world SHIT holes, then, we need to get some of these people out because sometimes these people come here and they just don't have the same values. They just don't have the same attention to detail to actually keep these countries, or keep our country as clean and well running as we would like it to be. But I mean, what do you think of the initiatives to deport people so far? Do you think that it's been a success or it's been a failure? Do you think we can do more? What do you think?
I mean, I know they're trying to ramp up everything. I would like to see more deportations. It's a big threat to what's coming over the border. These people aren't vetted. We've seen that with Lakeland Riley, all these other families who've been attacked, and it's blatant that the previous administration, it was something that they wanted. Now, was it for votes? Was it for who knows what? But yeah, there has to be more. I would love to see more deportations. I'd love to see taken away, and people don't understand too. It's not only the fact that what it's doing to America, it's also what's happening when they cross over the border. Have all these children being terrible things happen. I won't go into too much detail, but when these coyotes want to go ahead and bring these illegals into our country, and a lot of times they'll use children as a pawn back in the previous administration to get them over the border. So not only is it bad for what's happening to our country, it's also what's happening to everybody who's involved with the whole situation. So I would love to see more being done. I am glad to see that we are taking a little bit of initiative now. Even the fact of them sending them over to El Salvador, I love to see the video. The judges were fighting it, the corrupt Obama judges. So I was glad to see that plane touch down and them just start to fill up over there. But yeah, I'd love to see more, but I'm glad to see that we have a start and we're hopefully heading in the right direction now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And one thing I'm kind of more concerned about is that obviously we just got through the election. It was a few months ago now, but the midterms will come up soon, and the season for midterms will come up even sooner than that. And by that time, I'm just worried about people in Congress being worried about not looking like bad people, not looking like they're not sympathetic to the plight of the migrants who are coming here, or whatever. I will grant this is that, yeah, they probably came from not so great circumstances, but again, we aren't supposed to be the halfway house for the rest of the world. I think, frankly, I think that they should fix their countries first rather than trying to all flee here. I mean, because a lot of these people, let's just be honest, I mean, they are a net drain on public resources. So, I mean, with that being said, I do feel for these people, but, we need to be a little bit more, maybe harsh is the wrong word, but we need to be a little bit more staunch on taking these people out, not in that way, not in that way, but taking them out of the country, just as Kristi Noem said. They have to go back to their home and, do everything that they can to help out their own people there, because ultimately it's not a problem that's going to fix itself if they keep fleeing their countries and taking over here, because also, too, they have the cartel running things over there. I mean, maybe America needs to step up. And then, I know they've kind of designated the cartel as a terrorist organization now. So maybe there's some things in the works where they're trying to, I don't know, take out the cartel. That's maybe too much of an ask. I don't know if I would even advocate for that, because that would just be another war. It just wouldn't be good all around. So, we're kind of between a rock and a hard place with the situation. It's not an easy solution, but I don't think the solution is for these people to keep flocking over here in droves. So anyway, with that said, DOD spokesperson Sean Parnell drops Jasmine Crockett over post criticizing the firing of Admiral Shoshana Chatfield, appears to confirm refusal to hang portraits of Trump and Hegseth. So let's take a look at this article real quick. By the way, it's not very hard to drop Jasmine Crockett. I mean, she doesn't seem like the sharpest tool in the shed. Let's just say that. Department of Defense spokesman Sean Parnell responded with fire to Representative Jasmine Crockett, who is a Democrat from Texas, criticizing the recent firing of U.S. Navy Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield, appearing to confirm rumors that Chatfield was fired over her alleged refusal to hang portraits of President Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth at her post as U.S. military representative to the NATO Military Committee in Brussels, Belgium. Reuters was first to report Chatfield's firing Monday night, but did not report a cause. Tuesday morning, Human Events senior editor and former Navy officer Jack Posobiec reported, without citing sources, breaking per report, Navy Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield refused to put up POTUS and SecDef pictures in NATO HQ. Also held an all hands where she said, "We will wait them out for 4 years. She has been relieved of duty." And then this is the tweet from Jack Posobiec, I believe. And then that is her, Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield, from her photo from the DoD. On Tuesday morning, Parnell posted, Secretary Hegseth has removed U.S. Navy Vice Admiral Shoshana Chatfield from her position as U.S. representative to NATO's military committee due to a loss in confidence in her ability to lead. The Defense Department is grateful for her many years of secretary service. Another tweet from Sean Parnell. Parnell's statement did not mention a failure to hang portraits of the new civilian leadership of the military that was rumored to be the cause of Chatfield's dismissal. So I think we get the thrust of the article from just those few paragraphs that we read there. I mean, that is kind of crazy that, I mean, imagine getting hired at Walmart or something, and then you don't identify your manager as because, obviously you defer to your manager for certain decisions. Like say that, I know I used to work in retail when I was a teenager, but, sometimes someone would come to you and then you scan something and it would come up as $25. And then like, oh, this is on sale for $19.99. Okay, well, you call your manager over and then they double check and then they scan their thing and then they put in the new price and whatnot. I mean, imagine if you just if you were just giving people discounts because you just felt like you should be doing that, or you weren't giving the discount and you weren't honoring what the actual price was in the store, and you're just kind of going around your manager. Maybe it's not a great analogy, but it's just like, even in those small situations, there is a hierarchy. There is a chain of command, I think is what they call it in the military. So it's just completely ridiculous. And then it's even more ridiculous that in the headquarters for NATO, where, by the way, we should be showing that we're one strong unit. We shouldn't be showing that there's any kind of fissures or any kind of breaking in the chain of command. And then saying that she's going to wait them out 4 years. I mean, what has Pete Hegseth done that would warrant that kind of disrespect? I know people were saying he has Nazi tattoos. Like, he literally has a tattoo of the Jerusalem cross, I think is what it's called. So it's actually the complete opposite of a Nazi tattoo, actually. But just trying to say that you're going to wait them out 4 years. I mean, 4 years isn't a short period of time. And it's kind of just ridiculous to, from the NATO HQ to show that kind of disobedience at that level. It's just embarrassing, and I fully support that they would take out someone. And by the way, the military isn't doing everything that I would like. I think the military should be predominantly to defend America. That's why it's called the Department of Defense. I know that in 100 years ago it was called the Department of War or something like that. It was called something similar to that. But obviously then we were more of an imperialist nation, and we were trying to project power. We were trying to take over countries. We were trying to expand our influence. But now it's I think that we have a pretty good foothold on the globe. I think that we should just play defense. But even then, just have some respect for your superiors. There should be a chain of command. There should be hierarchy. And that goes for any company, even in the family. The husband is a household or is the head of the household. It's just ridiculous that people are just trying to subvert that once they get into the position that they were elected or they were chosen to support. So anyway, besides that, I want to talk to you guys about something. We are witnessing a generational decline in men's testosterone levels due to lifestyle choices, diet, and exposure to environmental toxins. And this decline can result in persistent fatigue, diminished strength, reduced libido, mood swings, and just an overall loss of vitality, which is keeping you from feeling like your best self, which is why we have Man's Edge. I put it down on the table, but you can't see it there, but it's right here. But now with the lower third, you can't see it. But one way that you can take control of your vitality and fight against everything else I was talking about is with Man's Edge from Neutronics Labs, which is a natural solution to support healthy testosterone levels. Man's Edge is more than just a standard booster. It combines powerful ingredients like fenugreek, IGF-1, NO2, which is also in some of your pre-workout drinks, and that all helps you make you feel your best, quite frankly. Studies show that fenugreek increases your testosterone levels by up to 46%, which, by the way, there's no other supplement that can do it. There are some boron. I take boron personally, but nothing to that extent that can increase your test levels by 46%. That's pretty substantial. And then plus, unlike other traditional powders and pills, This offers up to 90% of absorption by putting it under your tongue. It's a lot better method of delivery, which ensures that you receive the full benefits of these clinically proven ingredients. Even Frank Stallone has made it part of his daily routine, which is saying something, and that helps him stay at the top of his game. So join Frank Stallone and thousands of men rediscovering their vitality daily with Man's Edge. Sign up for the AutoShip program today and save 50% on all of your orders. And just, finally reclaim your lost youth and energy. If you're getting a little bit older, I know I am. Visit the link below and then go to tboostnow.com, use promo code Elijah and save an additional 10% off your order. Again, that's tboostnow.com, promo code Elijah. The link will be in the description and it's on screen right now. So very simple, tboostnow.com, promo code Elijah. That'll get you 10% off of your order. So getting to the last thing here, I think it's the last thing. I'm going to talk about Tom Homan a little bit, which we mentioned briefly at the beginning once we were talking about Kristi Noem, but we have a video. Tom Homan highlights missing children in speech to AG or to AZ legislature. Radical open borders Democrats walk out holding signs with illegal aliens' names, then protest outside of the Capitol, and then one Democrat lawmaker even cries. I have the video for you here, so I'm going to pull it up. It's kind of like too ridiculous to even believe that they're crying over people who aren't Native Americans, and I don't mean the Indian colloquially Native Americans, but people who are actually from here. But they're crying over people who have immigrated here. Doesn't make any sense. And take it off screen real quick. Also, too, I think we have. Is this another video? Okay, yeah. So this is the video where the Dems leave the so they walk out of the address, holding signs with the names like we mentioned before. You can watch this. It's about a minute long. Go ahead and watch.
So let's talk about what's happening right now. I'm a senior advisor to the President of the United States for the private borders out. First, come gave me three things one, secure the border. Two, the deportation operation, why is the deportation operation such a pursuit? I'm going to tell you by that support. And three, find missing children. We will find missing children. I love it. Thank you for getting my name. I love it for making my name. So let's talk about the truth of going on the border. My administration created the most significant immigration policy in the history of this nation. We want the most secure border in my lifetime. You want the precedent for the immigration. But now we got President Trump, who had to be the greatest president of my lifetime back in office, and we will secure the border. We've already done.
All right, and then I think we have one more video here, if I could pull it up, which is the Democrat Anna Abatia. I've never seen that name before. Anna Abatia crying during Tom Homan's Arizona visit.
Thank you for being here today. My name is Representative Anna Abatia, and I have the immense honor of serving the best district here in Arizona, Legislative District 24. I am here today to address the crucial issue that deeply affects our communities and our values as Americans. I will not sit quietly while the truth is whitewashed, while the reality of what's happening is twisted to serve political agendas. Republicans are trying to clean up the political perception of these extrajudicial deportations by pushing false narratives, telling you not to believe your lying eyes. But I am here to tell you that we will not let them sweep the truth under the rug. We know exactly what is happening, and we will not let them lie to Arizonans. I walked out today in protest because I refuse to be propagandized to about what the real issue is. Let's be clear.
This
issue is not about border militarization.
The split with me and the content on the screen. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
But because one thing, because it's like a 4-minute video, I'm not gonna make you guys watch the whole thing, but I do want to see the part where she's crying. Okay,
what we're
I can see her eyebrows are in a different position there.
Is disgusting.
So she's starting
We
to
are
get a little
seeing
bit
families
more
torn apart.
emotional. Now she's
These are not
holding
people
back
who care
tears.
about justice. We will not let them dismantle the fabric of our this law.
Yeah, I'm not going to get too into it, but
nor this hatred.
I just wanted to catch that part since that was what we were talking about. But yeah, like, okay, not to be too insensitive about this, but I mean, why should we care? Like, I mean, these people's names that they have on these pieces of paper that they're holding behind behind her as she gives this speech. I mean, these aren't American names. Let's just be quite honest with you. Which, by the way, I mean, my name isn't the most American name either. At least my first name is Michael, so I guess technically that's like Hebrew. I guess you can say it means who is like God. I've always liked my name because I'm half white, half Mexican, so it's like I'm literally half white, half Mexican. Kind of shows up in my name too. But someone's name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Someone's name is Henry with 2 R's. Maybe it's a typo by the person who wrote the sign. Henry Albornez Quintero. Ali, David, Navas, something, Kaya. Like, these aren't American names. Like, again, I was talking about this earlier, but I mean, they shouldn't have to be our responsibility. Like, it's just, there was one point in time where people who, were at least Christian, and, a lot of Mexicans are Catholic too, kind of more like culturally Catholic, I would say. I mean, I grew up with a lot of Mexicans, and they weren't exactly super practicing. They would go on like Easter and Christmas and, or baptism, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, this shouldn't be our primary concern. We have so many problems in this country. I don't think that our main concern should be making sure that, a couple dozen, and it's way more than that, but specifically they're talking about these migrants that came over. But I mean, it shouldn't be our concern that we have to make sure that they have a standard of living that's suitable for them, especially when a lot of them come here and then they don't really kind of respect the host country that they have come into. I mean, if anything, it would be one thing if they were coming and they were assimilating. Sometimes the second or third generation will assimilate better. Case in point right here. I mean, I'm a Trump supporter now. I'm more conservative. I'm only half Mexican again. But, sometimes people are better with assimilating. But to me, it's like, if you go into someone's house and then they want you to take your shoes off once you come in the house, then you do that. You respect that person's home. A lot of people come here and then they want to just treat everything like their host country, or not their host country, but their home country. They want to treat it like Guatemala or Honduras or Venezuela. It's not. It's America, and there's a certain standard of living. There's a certain way that we built this country, and we want to keep it that way. So, with that said, I just want to remind you guys, go to gatewaypundit.com, join the mug club. I always say this. Elijah always says this too, but this is a very good quality mug. Everything is embossed on here, so even if you put it through the dishwasher, it's not gonna chip off. It's not gonna come off, and it's very weighty too. So it's nothing that can break very easily. It's actually pretty thick, actually. I mentioned this before, but if I threw it at Michael Hennessy's right head, he'd probably get knocked out. I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't because he's a former MMA fighter, so maybe he wouldn't. Maybe he has a strong chin. But anyway, go to gatewaypundit.com. Check this out. It's well worth your while, and it also supports what we do here. It supports Jim Hoff, Cara, Castronuova, Jordan Conradson, everyone, Christina Lila. I know I'm missing a certain or some names there. I just see the names every day once I'm producing the show. So we're grateful for them. And if you're grateful for the reporting that they do at Gateway Pundit and that we bring to you here by reading you the articles, then we would appreciate it if you went to gatewaypundit.com and sign up for the Mug Club. With all that said, my name is Mike Mendoza. His name is Michael Hennessy of Snowflake News. I don't really have any socials I want to plug, but he has a big Instagram account. If you want to plug that, where can they follow you at?
Yeah, you could absolutely follow me. I'm on Snowflake_news. You can find me on Instagram as well as Twitter. Just put out groundbreaking news. Just as Gateway Pundit, just speaking the truth all the time. Truth, facts over feelings, and not as big as them, not as doing as great as them. But yeah, any kind of support, I'd greatly appreciate it. So
awesome. Well, sounds good. Follow him there. You could follow me too on Twitter. Recently, some big accounts have been following me, which is funny because I never tweet. But I have a lot of big people following me just because from working in the industry and having to book people and having to exchange with people. So I have a presence online. It's Mike Mendoza JPG. Just follow me there. It'll be in the description down below too, and then so will his Instagram too. So follow us there. But other than that, as Elijah Schaefer, my good friend, says, God bless America, and thank you for joining us.